Hello there and welcome to the new Tableau dashboard tutorial. And in this tutorial video I will show you how you can create a Tableau dashboard like this. This dashboard, as you can see, is San Francisco Airport dashboard for March 20, and it shows some KPI information like the number of flights by day, so a trend information, and it's clearly indicating the trend is going down. Then the most popular day for flight based on the filters that you have selected. And yeah, the interesting part is these filters which are hidden. So if you click it over here, you have some filters which you can make it as part of the dashboard, like for example the route information. After that you have date, you have range filter, and some more filters as per your needs. So this is a personal choice about what filters we want, but interesting part is we will see how we're going to create a filter like this. Then we have this information about the how the flights are moving from the San Francisco airport to their different location. You can select the flights, as you can see, you can highlight it, and then basically figure out what is the route and what is the distance. Now down there you have two bar charts which basically says the most popular routes and the highest distance, or the top 5 distances. So let's see how we can create a chart like this within Tableau, or dashboard like this in a Tableau, which serves the basic purpose of understanding an airport. So let's start the creation of this dashboard. So let me come out of this dashboard. Alright, and let's create a new blank sheet. So a new sheet's being created over here. Alright, so here we have a new workbook altogether. From there we can connect the data. So let's connect to the data which is in the text file, I believe. And I have this airport dashboard, air travel data, and let's click on update now. So this is basically the column. As you can see, we have the different column, but some of the columns are basically the calculated field. So what we'll do is, I have a different data set where we don't have this calculated field, as we can create it from scratch. Otherwise it won't make a lot of difference. So let's click on Microsoft Excel, and here is the data set, the original data set. That means without the calculated fields and all. Alright, so it is loading, and over here we can remove this. So the only data set we have is basically an air travel, and here we have the geometry coordinates, as you can see. So this coordinate will going to help us find the path from to and fro, as well as the distance. So I'll show you how you can figure it out. And then you have information about property, FlyScore actual time ship, and the relevant details like date and all. And finally the route information. So this route, what I need to do is I need to split. So I'll click over here and split, and this split will be based on the dash, as you can see. So let me click OK. Nothing happens. Let me try it again. Or maybe custom split. In custom split we will first 2 columns, and what we need is basically the dash. Click OK. So now you have route 1 or route 1 split 1 and route 2 split 2. So this will going to tell us that from where it is starting and from where it is going. So San Francisco to BUR or SBA. Now I really don't know about all of these different airport names, but yeah, since it is a San Francisco dashboard, so I'm aware of that. So let's go ahead and move on to the sheet 1. So now we have this data, the different properties, the dimensions, and the measure, which is geometry coordinates 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, and we will see how we will create the meaningful calculations from them. Alright, so first thing is creating the KPIs. So if you are not sure, let's show you the KPI. So here is a KPI, number of flights by day, and most popular day. So let's create that. So number of flight is nothing but the number of records. So to know that, we just need to create a simple calculated field, give it a name as number of records, or sometimes what I like to call it hash of records, but for now it's okay, and just add 1. So what it will do is it will just have 1 for each column, and we will going to pull it on over here. We can increase the size as per our needs, and as you can see, this is how the detail really look like. We can format it. What I really like is for this to be maybe dark blue and Tableau bold, and what I need is to be 14 at least. Click apply. So yeah, looks good in that case. Or if you want a little bit more, like so that it is clearly displayed like this, so click OK, and you can double click on sheet 1 and basically say number of flights and make it center. We need to make it a little bit bigger, like 20, make it bold and dark black. Click apply, OK, and we will call it entire view. And since it has moved here, you can come over here in text, in alignment, make it center. Alright, so now we have done most of the formatting, so we will call it number of flights. I'll right click, now you're going to do it and click on duplicate. After that, we have trends information. For example, if you go it over there, number of flights by day. So let's call it number of flights by day, and over here this also number of flights by day. Click OK, and what do we need is basically the trend information. Now the trend information is something you will get it with the help of the date field. So let's bring the date over here and we will call it a day. Alright, and we need the number of records over here, and as you can see we have this flight date information, so it has by default picked that up. I think what I need is, I don't need this, I don't need this as well, and this will be shrinked based on how we want it. So what I can do, so over here you have path, couple of options like how you want it, so up to us how we want to show. For me, I will just go ahead with this information or this type of line. So now I have line number of flights by day, but I believe it shows the first and last day information. So what you have is basically within the label, you can click on show, but it will show everything. So you have couple of options over here. You can select min max. So where is the minimum flights, when is the maximum flight, so automatically Tableau will keep telling you that information. Line ends, wherever the line is ending, that means starting, so first end is here and another end is here, and most recent, and highlighted when you will highlight it. So I think what is more interesting is minimum and maximum, for the purpose of when in this trend was the minimum flight and maximum flight. Alright, so after that, once we have this information, let me just duplicate this and get it the day where most of the flights actually happened or moved. So this is called the most popular day. I'll call it most popular day, and the same it should reflect over here, most popular day. After that, what do we have is basically date. We will call it again day. We need individual dates, and we need the textual information over here, but what we need is basically over here the days information, the individual dates. Let's click on next, and from here we will going to pick the top one, click apply and OK. So what we don't need is basically this line information. So by default, if you see, this is picking up a line, but if you pick this up, it will pick the this particular number over here. So maybe what I can do is, let me press Ctrl C, automatic, and keep it only text. Alright, so now it is way much better, and we can take this information at the top, like it should be 6th March 2020 at the top. If you see the dashboard, so if I just go here, most popular day, March 6, 2020 and 3295. So let me show you a quick trick how you can do that. So let's come back here. Alright, so let's duplicate this. So now we have two dates, or 3295, 329, two most popular dates, and what we'll do is right click and keep it as dual access. So now we have it at the top. So what we can do is right click and uncheck this. Oops, Control Z. So ideally what I'm thinking is it should work in this case, that one of the header I am just trying to remove. Okay, if this doesn't work, I think one of the other option we have is the previous option, where we can move this as like this and expand it, format it a little bit, so we don't need hide labels. So we have 6th March, and then I can right click and format this, and for the formatting, all the lines and everything, we can just make it like none until we have this line gone. So it's basically part here in the row divider where you can make it none, and this row will be removed. So after that, what you can do is come over here. As I said, you have entire view, and in the entire view it has moved down there and up here. So for that, in the formatting of this, or maybe text over here, we can make it center, and we can make it over here. So this way you have the information here which you can further format for the formatting. So if I just come over here and make it 14 and make it blue, Tableau bold, to make it consistent. Alright, click apply, the same information, and this is something again we can right click, format, Tableau maybe 12 and bold, and that should be it. So most popular day, March 6, 3295. Alright, so now this is done. Next part is, let's create the bars, where the topmost bars, the routes and distance. Alright, so routes is pretty straightforward. If I just click on routes over here, so we have two routes information here. If you see, we have route split 1, route split 2, or you can call it route 1 and 2. If I just click over here and say route 1, which is more meaningful, and 2. So I need to create one calculated field to remove the effect of SFO. So let's call it grouped route, and say if route 1 is having SFO, then say route, then take the route 2, else route 1. So we are removing the SFO from this and then identifying the most popular route and call it and click OK. So we have grouped route information, and now we can go ahead and create the chart. So we will going to create a horizontal one. So we have these routes and the number of records is here. Let's route it, and as you can see we have the most popular routes. The only thing is reducing it, so let's call it grouped route. We want the top 5. Click apply and OK. So now we have the top 5 routes, which we can format the way we want and use it now in the there. So I will just right click over here and remove the oops, sorry, I just need to remove this. So let me right click, hide labels for field row. So alright, so now it's gone. Only thing is we have these labels which are hidden here. So what I'll do is I'll expand a little bit and then drag this up so that it will reveal itself. And for this one also right click, not this one but this one over here. I don't need title. Control C, Y. Right click, I can go in edit access and remove this piece. Okay, so now the routes information is also ready. What we can do is we can maybe put the routes information over here. So this way one can know how popular the route is in the actual term. After that we have the distance, the top 5 distances from SFO. Now to create this distance, what we need is basically the from and to field creation. That means from where the flight is going, from where the flight is coming from. So to do that, what we really need to know is aware about the fields over here. So in this field, if you look at the geometry codes 11 and 10 creates the from distance or the from field. So we will use the make point function and create this. So to do that, let's give it a from make point, and we will have geometry 11 and geometry point 10. So click OK. You will create one more for 2, and again you will use the make point function, and here 0 1 0 0. So for this you just have to have a little bit understanding, which I am assuming that you may be having if you are looking at this dashboard or want to create this type of a dashboard. And if you have the geometry coordinates like this, which indicates from where the flight is coming on from to a place the flight is going. Click OK. So now we have from field, as you can see it's a globe icon, and to field, which is again it's a globe, that means a geographical data based on the geometry coordinates over here. And now you can just go ahead and create the field, which is distance, and the function is also distance from to, and the units I want in kilometers. Alright, click OK. So now I have this field. So what we can take is the grouped route over here and the distance over here. So now we have the distances. If I just add this, and one last thing we need to do over here is, instead of this, I want the average distance, so that it will give me by averaging it and not by summing it up. And now you can see the BLR, which is Bangalore, the Singapore, DXB, MEL, which I think Melbourne, DEL, which may be Delhi, TLV, which may be Tel Aviv, so SYD, Sydney, and so on and so forth. So what we need is the top 5. So I will pick the grouped route over here by field, top 5, distance average, click OK, and now I have this information. After that, what maybe we can do is we can just put the information over here, and this is the kilometers information that you have for the routes, the average information. So if I just expand this a little bit, and as I was wondering, it should be average. Alright, and we can make this as we want. Okay, and like earlier, I'll just right click and hide the labels. I will right click edit access and remove this. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So now we have this information also ready. So now we have routes, we have distance. Now finally we just need to create the map chart. So you'll call it map. So the first thing what we have is the longitude and latitude information. So let's select this and create the map chart over here, or maybe this one, longitude and latitude. All right, so let's call it map. Okay, and increase it little bit. Oops, increase a lot. Now to show the lines, what we can do is we need to create the calculated field, which is line, and it is the make line function from and based on two fields. So click apply and OK. So now let's put the line information on the details, right, and the route information as well, just to indicate which route it is. So now route information is coming, and the distance information. So let's bring the distance as well, so one can see what is actually the distance that you are having for this flight. All right, so again, this is not, as you can see, is very clear, or something which we can further modify it in the backend. So one thing is talking about its colors, and also you have the map and map option or map layers. So you have a couple of options like what are the different type of so like this, normal, washout, or non-washout, and what sort of information you want: country, region, border, land cover, base. So once you have this property set up, one thing we can do is we can just come over and click it over here to reset map, so that this will be expanded properly. And now it looks perfectly fine, which now can be part of our dashboard. So the final thing is producing the dashboard. All right, so let's create the dashboard from here and start pulling the sheets. So the first is the text box, which is San Francisco Airport dashboard. Let's select this, make it center, make it pretty big because it is a title, bold it, and maybe black completely. All right, San Francisco Airport dashboard. After that, what do we need is basically the information about the different KPIs. So the number of flights over here. After that, trend information, and after that, most popular day. All of this is here. We can just make it a little bit proper for our chart. Okay, and drag this up. San Francisco dashboard, number of flights, this. After that, we have map. So let's bring the map and put it down there. As you can see what I'm doing, I have this map, so I can put it upward as per my needs. So I'll right click and hide this. So now I have full map, and this KPIs is showing its relevant information. Now I can put the route and distance. So over here, route and distance, we can increase the size, height of the dashboard little bit and make it like this. If I try to, okay, should be, or maybe I can just expand this a little bit or shrink it, sorry. All right, no, doesn't look really good because we are missing on the trend information. So up until, I guess, is fine. Now we have distance and routes. So top five routes, double click over here, top 5 average distance, top 5 average distance from San Francisco. Top 5 average distance from San Francisco. All right. So now if you see, the only thing is this chart is pretty small and this is big. So maybe what you can do is, for the distance, you can just squeeze it a little bit and then see the dashboard. Sounds or looks pretty much close. You can do it further, yeah, over here. So now this looks fine. The only problem is that it is big and it is little small, so we can just remove the San Francisco because we already know this is the dashboard. So now we have top 5 average distance and top 5 routes. Again, just so that they are properly aligned, I am making a little bit of an adjustment, and to me it looks fine. Now the only thing is, we have some space over here, so we can reduce this. All right, and then bring the distance a little bit down there. Again, a little messed up, as you can see. I think that was fine. 1000 multiplied with 1000. I think this is fine. You have some space, but that's okay. You can call it like 980 or something. But now you have the dashboard ready. So if I just put it down, okay, showing pretty clear information. Fine. The only thing which is remaining is the filter, the show height filter, which I showed you. So for that, what we can do is, let's go to some sheet and bring some filters. Filters, which is, let's say, date. We have routes information, so filter, not route, but maybe here, filters, and nope, not route. So what I can do is, I can just go to one of the filters and put route information over here and just say use all. Okay, and now from here I will bring in the route, which I can then select, and so these are the two. Third one, what I can bring in is the distance. So if I just come over here, filter, sum of distance, which may be down here. Okay, so this is good, and it is, as you can see, is part of the vertical containers, all of these filters. So what I can do is, I can put the vertical container over here and bring these inside. All right. And then finally the sum. Okay, so now if I go into the layout over here in tiled dashboard, vertical, we have this three. So I've just selected this where we have these three filters, and now I can come over here and I can make it floating. As I make it floating, you can see this is now a floating filter, right? And over here you have some of the information about show title, make it customize, and what I am really looking is basically this show height button. So now we have this show height button, which I can bring it up here. Alright, and what I want is basically this to be part of this. So we have this show height button, and what I wanted was basically the go into the edit button, dashboard show high vertical, click OK, and if I let me just try to go inside, so it is displaying you but not at the correct location. So let me put it in the correct location by selecting the container. So we have this, let me just show this, show, and then we have container. Let's bring the container here. I think this should be good. And layout, floating order is bring to front and bring forward. Alright, now if I just come here, I have this information, and the only thing is I need to still format it a little bit. So if I just come here, select this, shading, let's make it white, right? Opacity 100%. And now, interesting. I think it should be in floating, bring to front, bring forward, show, and if I say like this, okay, this is only changing the background of this, but not to this. So what I can do is I can just select this filter and make it a background as this one. Select this filter, make the background as this one, date, and make this filter, select the background as white. So now this information will be appearing up front. You can make whatever you want, but I now have the details of this, and which I can check. But still, one more thing over here is, for this filter to work, you need to apply on the worksheet only this sheet from where it has generated, like top 5 routes, all using this data source, right, or selected worksheet. So you can make like couple of worksheets by selecting it from here: number of flights by day, most routes, distance, and map. And same setting for the other. Apply to worksheet, selected worksheet, and just apply it so that they work fine. So now you are aware that how you can create a show height button, where you can basically you can create as per your needs, selected worksheet, and apply it on the dashboard, which looks really interesting as like an icon. So if I just reduce this, you will see that it is reducing it for the rest of the dashboard as well. Okay, and similarly over here you can uncheck any particular path wherever it is not making or not helpful for you. So now your dashboard is ready, where you can do the filtering based on the needs. You have the information, the pictorial information, and then oops, where has my number of flights have gone? Maybe they are filtered. So what I'll do is just check all, select this completely. Still not here. Let me see what's the issue. So I think it has to do with the number of flights, the filter related information. So if I click on edit filter, yeah, as you can see, sometimes maybe a little bit problematic for us to have the filter. Now most of the routes and every dashboard information is coming. So just to be aware, as you can see, if we are selecting a particular day, then also it is going. So number of flights per day. So we have a date filter over here. If I click on edit, we are saying only the top one. So just need to make sure that wherever we don't want a filter, we should remove that, and now information is coming. So need to be aware about the filter and its impact, like I showed you over here, as it will have the impact over here on your charts, like the charts or the KPIs were disappeared. But mainly I wanted to show you how you can create a dashboard like this and then configure it for the maximum output for any of the airport related dashboard that you are producing. So that's about it, and I'll meet you in the new video with the new topic.